You know, the one thing I'm confident about is that I don't know. But I think that rates may go a little higher, but not terribly much higher, or not. There's substantial progress being made against inflation, and that's what matters. The economy is producing mixed signals, but at least inflation is well down from the peak, and things are performing well. So I would say that maybe a little higher or maybe not. If you came into this business since 1980, which covers almost everybody, you've only seen either declining interest rates or ultra-low interest rates. You have to go back into the 70s to have seen a different climate, which I fortunately did do. I believe that this monotonic decline of interest rates is over. Number one, there's not much room for a further decline. And number two, I think the Fed probably understands that it kept rates too low too long and that there was a negative consequence, certainly in terms of inflation. And I said in my memo Sea Change, which was published in December, that I don't believe in forecasts, especially my own. But I'm willing to say that for the next decade, the Fed funds rate is more likely to be between 2 and 4 than between 0 and 2. That's as far as I can go. But and I only say that directionally to indicate my belief that the period of ultra-low rates is over.
And let's assume that's correct. Do I have any business then being in the equity market, where you want to park the bulk of your money? Because equities have been rewarded substantially over the last 15.
Look, as Warren Buffett always says, you don't want to desert the U.S. or the U.S. economy or, I think, the corporate sector. You know, the S&P has given a 10.2% return every year on average for the last century. You don't want to give up that. Right now, it looks like you can get equity-type returns from credit. A little below 10 for what we call liquid credit, stuff that's tradable every day, and well above 10 perhaps for private credit, which is not tradable. The point is that, 21 months ago, today high-yield bonds yield in the 9s. 21 months ago, they were in the 4s. When they're in the 9s, you can invest in them with high expectations. Competitive with equities and more than sufficient to meet most organizations' needs. Private credit returning in the low double digits or more, well, that's obviously very, very competitive. But, equities, what equities have that credit doesn't have is the ability to surprise on the upside.
Right.
And you find some great growing companies in your portfolio. You'll be sorry if you weeded them out. But I think now there's a much better place for credit than there has been at most times in the last 14 years.
Would you go above 50%? Would you say majority is apt?
The biggest potential catch in becoming a credit investor is that you reduce the likelihood of downside, but you give up the upside of equities. So the question is, how do you and your organization feel about that trade-off? If I say to you, I think I can get you 9 to 10% through a balanced portfolio of credit over the long term, quite dependably. If you say, that's great, I love that, maybe you do 75% of your portfolio.
Okay.
If you say, I want to still make sure that I have exposure to the upside of equities, then you say maybe 50 or 40.